What's up, everybody? I meant to make this video a couple days ago, but I've just been busy. But today we're looking at the information released on the POIs for Broken Moon. The teaser was called Divided Moon, but Broken Moon, the new Apex Legends map, coming the beginning of Season 15 on November 1st, along with Catalyst, who's also on the screen, which we'll cover more when her official abilities and everything are released. Before I get into it, I just want to say I got my Twitch link down below. On November 1st, I plan on trying out Catalyst and playing ranked in the new map first day, so follow me on there so you can check me out. I'll also be streaming Modern Warfare 2 tonight if you don't care about Call of Duty, whatever. But I will be playing the new map with the new legend day 1, November 1st, so check me out on Twitch there. So there is a video trailer here. If you want to watch this for yourself, I will have this linked down below, this whole blog post. If you want to check it out for yourself, watch the video, look through the POIs yourself. That will be linked down below. It says Broken Moon is a terraforming project commissioned by the Clio Recovery Council, Clio's the Moon, as a result of the catastrophic meteor impact that occurred in 2708. With the help of the Boreas Science Division, the Moon became a habitable environment by 2715. To further fund colonization, the government entered into a contract with the Syndicate to bring the Apex Games to the Moon. Broken Moon is similar in size to World's Edge and features a wide array of terrain, both extraterrestrial and borderline familiar. Locations range from glamorous gardens to a gigantic terraforming machine to a filthy wharf. Let's look at the location breakdown. So zip rails, that's the new big feature they're adding to the map. It says a fast, predictable way to get from a location to another, effectively outrun the ring. These rails are set up along a predetermined paths to quickly move from one POI to the next. Players can get through some particularly challenging rotations and even move within points of some of the larger landmarks. While riding the rails, you have all the same functions available to use a zip line, but with increased speed and momentum. So coming with that, and something that they tweeted was, obviously it's going to be harder to aim. You're able to be shot just like always, but you're obviously also harder to be shot, harder to aim, harder to shoot people, harder to get shot. But those are going to be all over the map, and you'll see when we go through this, there's a bunch that you can spot in the background. So then we're going through the points of interest. It says the Moon is packed with large POIs that offer comfortable landing spots for multiple squads, allowing time to loop before first shots are fired. Zip rails are also an effective means of closing the gap or escaping a risky situation. So you can see zip rails if you look really closely. Yeah, you can see the ones that you went through on the preview that go around through here. It's kind of hard to see any of them. I think this is the only jump tower that they cover that zoom, but it's really hard to make out too much detail from this overhead picture. So actually I'm going to go ahead and keep that a little more zoomed in so we can actually look at these. Terraformer. Constructed to prevent the Moon from dying, the Terraformer is a massive symmetrical structure that resides off-center of the map. It is the king of the hill drop location with loot throughout, which supports up to 4 teams with comfortable landing spots. The central position of power can be used to effectively defend from within the walls, but there are also ways to infiltrate and overthrow the team in power. So that's right here. Terraformers here, literally middle of the map. You're probably going to land on this north side of the map a lot too, so you don't have to rotate uphill if the zone pulls up here. Obviously, but it's better to rotate downhill if the zone pulls to like down here. But we'll have to see how the zones are and what rotations are like. From here, you can't see too much. It looks like there might be zip rails going from these little outside sections towards the main platforms. Looks like there's zip rails there. I don't think they're gonna have zip lines at all. I think every zip thing is gonna be a zip rail. It looks like there's water around the base, so that'll be nice loud footsteps for you if you're camping in the building. I don't think there's really anything notable other than the interesting rock formations that are actually all around the map. Those are probably all out of bound areas that you can't climb up to, but it'll be interesting rotating around the bottoms of them. Stasis net array, a completely asymmetrical space, which just means, you know, you got this big satellite array here and then this little ship over here, and then these little buildings over here. You can see one of the zip rails in the background here. With a central honeypot of loot, the stasis net array provides plenty of ways to escape and flank the main structure or retreat and move the fight. The particle beam emitting from this location is what keeps floating Moon debris from crashing down into Boreas as well as the Moon itself. And if you look, it's actually on the other side of the hill of Terraformer, and when you look at the overall map, it's going to be right here down southwest from Terraform. Then you have Atmo Station and Backup Atmo, which actually has two pictures. One of them is the Atmo Station, one's the Backup Atmos. You can see they're pretty similarly shaped. with some slight differences. They got zip rails all over, some leading from these side buildings all the way up to the main building. And it's hard to tell because we're on the opposite side looking at this picture here, but you can see the zip rails actually go not from these buildings, but these buildings all the way past the circle buildings here and then up into the Atmos. Over time, the Atmos stations have created a breathable atmosphere on Clio. Research buildings to the left and right offer landing spots for players to loot and assault the main tower structure. Pass through the narrow bridge or take the zip rails to the top. Nearby water silos can be a safer location should there be too much heat elsewhere. So yeah, you can zip from these research buildings past the water silos, which you obviously can jump down on, up into the main tower building. And then you can see those in the main picture are going to be out in this southwest corner of the map. I don't know if they're clustered together. It looks like there's one also in the like northeast or north central part of the map. And then we go down to Perpetual Core, which this was the area that the Divided Moon preview actually showed us around. This is what we actually zipped around. You can see zip rails here. These weren't the exact ones that we took in the preview, though. A sole source of power on the moon, this huge area supports big fights and multiple landings. The core itself is the main seat of power here, but can also be easily attacked. The uplift from the turbine below and the surrounding zip rails can offer unique escape strategies. And once we scroll all the way back up to the top here, you can see this here in like the south central, southwest corner of the map here. Once again, you can see the zip rail here, but you can't really see the other ones here. I don't think that this picture necessarily has them. I could just be blind and tripping. But you can see the zip rails here. There's like the outer research buildings around, but pretty standard apex cover and stuff in between. Bionomics, a tightly packed set of circular structures with playable rooftops. There are plenty of opportunities for vertical flanking along with sneaky healing spots and bionomics. Originally a research facility built to sturdy, strange fauna, some experimental regrowth still populates the abandoned area. So I'm thinking some of the sneaky places to heal that they're talking about are, this looks like an under in the bridge, but there's lots of corners everywhere. Maybe you can climb up into these trees or like Vault jetpack into these trees, but there's lots of angles, lots of under bridge areas, lots of cover in the water, outside. I wonder if this is probably open, but I wonder if there's anything inside this little open area that you can stand. And then when we look at the big map picture, I don't know if you can actually see that POI in this big map picture. I don't see it. Maybe I'm blind, like I just said, but I don't see it in that big picture. Obviously, that's not going to show us everything. We're looking for a big pink tree, some water. That could be back down in here. That could be just lower than some of these terrains because we don't see it otherwise. Or it could be right down in this bottom area here, a little out to the east here, a little out to the west here. So not every POI is going to be in that main picture. Then we have the Divide. The Divide is a cluster spot of vertical houses. So we're talking about these buildings, I'm assuming out here to the right. Filled with loot, separated by bridges and connected by zip rails. Once again, you can see zip rails coming into the POI from out here. And then zip rails to go between these areas of this structure here. Oh, and there's a conventional zip line there. And then I'm guessing that this zip rail is going to be somehow connected with these because so many of the zip rails are long. But we'll have to see. I don't think this is another one that I don't think you can see in the main big picture. Once again, I don't think I see it, but with the high terrain areas like these, it might be hard to see everything in this picture. That might be bionomics down there. And then we have Alpha Base, the site of the first moon landing. Alpha Base is densely packed lunar buildings, rest inside giant moon crater. Exterior walls keep the fights contained in the tight interior space. Requires a big commitment. So here you can kind of see what I was talking about with the zip rails. There's not just a zip rail from down here to up here. The zip rail actually looks like it's all the way down to here and then comes all the way up to this building here. So it looks like a lot of the zip rails are long. And then it looks like there's another zip rail that might go all the way from this left side all the way through that building and out. But even if it stops at this building, which actually I can see right there it does, then there's another long one coming out of this building. And then they have conventional zip lines here and here. This is what it was talking about with the main buildings inside the crater with the large exterior walls are right here. And then you have these larger buildings up here as well. This is one that I'm pretty confident we cannot see on the map, but I have a pretty good idea of where that's going to be. That's going to be probably within here. As you can see, that's the main like deserty looking area that is contained by walls. So from there, now we are on to Eternal Gardens, and I know exactly where this is on the big map. A vast open space that serves a memorial of the tragic event on Boreas. Eternal Gardens is a home to a long-range field of flowers and trenches. It has a central tower that contains the only jump tower on the moon. Meant as a means of celebration, it is also a crafty way to reposition for a fight or rotate to another zone. And so you can see they got big shaped hedges of animals. Got the only jump tower here, which makes it really easy to spot on the map. And then there's not much else. You got some trenches. We don't get a good look at the inside of the building. You can see some zip rails coming into the POI or leaving, depending on what direction you're going in. And then obviously that jump tower. So if you go all... I just hit the side button of my mouse. If you go all the way to the main picture, it's pretty easy to spot. That's where that POI is there. And so you're downhill from the terraformer. So this is probably a good spot if you need to rotate up into terraformer. Take that jump tower, rotate up into terraformer. Or if you need to like come down to core, I wonder if you'll be able to take this jump tower and get down to core. Hard to tell elevation changes at that angle. So from there, we're at Breaker Wharf. A symmetrical space built for mid-range combat and connected by a bridge and a zip rail. The parallel structures at Breaker Wharf is packed with multiple layers of verticality. That actually should be R. Packed with multiple layers of verticality means to reposition between them. Flanked by additional zip rails, it is also an easy way to rotate to another POI. You can see you got a zip rail coming in from wherever that's at into this POI. Then you have the zip rail that takes you, looks like you go through the bridge while maintaining the rail. You can actually see purple and blue armor. More blue armor. Hopefully there's actually a good amount of armor on this map. And it takes you right into the other POI. It looks like there's a traditional zip line here. Zip lines to get into the different layers of the building. And then you can obviously fight down in these trenches. There's some boxes down there. Or loot pills. Looks like a decent amount of loot. You only see one zip rail coming in, but I'm sure there's others or other ways to creatively rotate in. That's one that I'm 99% sure is not obvious on the big map. Yeah, no, it's actually right there. It's a small POI. Okay, I thought that was something different. So that's going to be down in the like south central, southeast corner of the map, it looks like. From there, we have Production Yard, which I already know where that is on the map. Production Yard is another large location on the map with a bullseye landing pad and 2 adjacent landings on the extent of the T-shaped structure. There is lots of loot nestled within the corridors here with a central honeypot to fight over. The central honeypot's obviously going to be this big building. You can see zip rails coming into the POI from the left and the right side of the main building. It looks like possibly a regular zip up into these smaller structures here out by the landing pad. But the big thing obviously is going to be this big central building with the zip rails coming in. This one's pretty easy to spot. It's going to be out on this side here. Where the launch pad's going to be like out, down, right here, right below my face cam. We are almost through this. The Foundry. The large POI features a divided central hub split by 2 long arms filled with loot and enough landing spots for 4 teams. The integrated zip rails at the Foundry allow players to quickly travel across the main hub or to reposition for a fight. This is where ferrofluid is refined and used to patch parts of the moon to avoid further deterioration. I cannot wait to use her ferrofluid. Hey, look, purple armor again. Maybe there will be a lot of armor on this map. Helmet. But you can see they got regular zip lines to go in between the second floors inside. So that's interesting to have the zip lines indoors. I can't think of very many maps that do that isn't just like an elevator shaft to go up. You can see this is probably one of those elevator shafts right there. Zip line to go up. So you could grab the zip line and then zip across to push people. Typical inside of a building cover, layers, stairs. Only thing significant I think is having the zip lines indoors. And obviously since it's an indoor picture, I can't exactly pinpoint where this is on the map. Then we have Dry Gulch, which looks really... So where I thought was the wharf might actually be Dry Gulch. This might actually be Dry Gulch instead of the wharf. This might be the wharf down here. But anyways, Dry Gulch, the entirely asymmetrical location. Yeah, so what I thought was the wharf is definitely Dry Gulch. It's divided by a short bridge, which also acts as a funnel for rotation between the 2 halves of Dry Gulch. The Gulch features vast, multi-layered fights with tightly packed interior spaces. So once again, you can see zip rails coming in and out of the POI here, and then one to take you from this side of the POI all the way to the other side, and then a zip line in between these areas here, recon beacon here. This building's obviously very different than this building, connected by this bridge here. Obviously, you can take the roadways down there, another bridge here. This will be an interesting location to fight in for sure. Cultivation. I think Promenades is last. Yep. Cultivation, the source for all moon food. Cultivation is made up of low-lying collection of a singular greenhouse, a low-lying collection of circular greenhouses that connects to a large central greenhouse, the seat of power and its location. Easily defendable on all sides, the waterways cutting through the zone offer sneaky routes. It's not sneaky if you can hear water footsteps. To loot up and assault the main structure detected. So what I thought was Bionomics is definitely that POI. Where's the main picture of the map? Right here, you can see the 3 circular greenhouses, the pools of water. That's definitely cultivation on that part of the map. You can see in the distance there's a zipline rail in and out here, but nothing else too obvious. Depending on where zones are, being up in this cavernous area, this pathway here would actually be pretty useful. If the zone pulls up to you and people got to rotate out of here, there's good rock cover and stuff overlooking this area. And they have Promenades, which is last. The Promenades is the place where most moon dwellers reside and get their supplies. The huge vertically visible landmark is a focused hallway fight with zip rails throughout. Flank routes pocket the interior space, while the exterior is the main central funnel between the north and the south of the map. So this will be pretty easy to spot on the map. I'll show you in 1 second if you haven't spotted it yourself. Looks like there's verticality in the terrain. A lot of times I would expect all this to be out of bounds areas, and this might be because it looks like you can't just climb up it from under. But it's interesting that this isn't overlooking down here. And then they say it's where most dwellers reside and get their supplies. And I have one bone to pick that does not make sense in Apex. This is a tangent. But why is there always points of interest? Or not? Why are we fighting where people live and reside, and what's keeping the moon alive? Like, these are the Apex games, right? So they're for entertainment. They're to prove yourself as a warrior. So if people are living and operating out of this place, why are we fighting there? And where are all the people? Like, they're not just arenas. Like, they're structured as places where people live and how this moon functions. And then inside of here is, like, just on the other side of this is Promenade. But why are we fighting where people are supposedly living, and where are those people living? Maybe I'm just ignorant because I'm newer to Apex, but do they, like, tell everyone, hey, we're having Apex games this weekend, clear out? That's the one bone I have to pick with this, especially when it says it's where most moon dwellers live. Does nobody live on the moon anymore? Did I miss that in the lore that's coming out with this season? I don't know. That's just a tangent. And then they finish off with cutting it close. This team is incredibly proud of the work that has gone into making Broken Moon as magical as it is. For the first time in Apex Legends, you'll be soaring through the map at high speeds, banking around corners, and building a momentum as you feel the rush of the zip rails. Cut it close like never before. Whether it's to find the next fight, escape a closing ring, or speedily scoop up more loot, I'm excited to share all of our hard work with you. So that's it. I'm definitely looking forward to this. Like I said, I'll link this down below if you want to check this out for yourself. But please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell for more. I will be putting out a video when they officially release everything about Catalyst. At least in written form, they put out the gameplay trailer. And then when the patch notes come out, I'll also be going over that. I am going to start getting into Apex content, so please subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when that all gets uploaded. And let me know down below what you think of the preview of this map. I think it looks fun. I don't particularly have bones to pick with any of the maps other than having, like, Prowlers on Stormpoint, but I mean, I'm generally a fan of all the maps. Like I said, I am newer to Apex. I'm only finishing up my second full season now. I played like 2 weeks of, if that, of Season 12, and Season 13 was my first full season. But I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, November 1st, when this comes out, it'll probably be in the evening because I have to work, but I will be streaming New Legend, playing Ranked on the new map. Definitely looking forward to it. Like I said, that'll be linked down below. This will be linked down below, but so will my Instagram and TikTok, which I do post on almost every day, along with streaming every day on Twitch and my Twitter, so please feel free to check those out. But I will see you on Broken Moon. Get frying. Have a good day. Bye.